Now entering Nerdist.com.
Hello there and welcome to Today We Learned. I'm Dan Casey, one of your hosts, and unfortunately this is the last time you're going to hear my voice during this episode because I'm currently in the mountains of New Mexico. What am I doing here? Only time will tell. I'm probably going to wind up getting buried up to my neck in the desert while fire ants slowly encroach towards my face. But you know, anything can happen. Realistically, I'll probably just eat a bunch of chilies, some salsa, and then get heartburn and kind of regret everything that led me to this point. But I digress. We've got a killer show for you today. I'm so excited that we got the guest on today's show, but I'm mad that I couldn't be there because I think he's a hilarious guy. But before we get into that, I have a favor to ask of you guys. Now, you know that we have great advertisers that support the show to keep it free for you. And one of the reasons why advertisers love Today We Learned is they know the show has amazing listeners, i.e. you guys. So, about once a year, to demonstrate this fact to advertisers, we run a listener survey. And right now, we have an all-new survey that I'd like you to take to help us learn more about the audience. In order to do that, just go to podsurvey.com/today. The survey's only going to run you about 5 minutes. We'll ask you some questions about yourself, what you like to buy, and the best part is completely anonymous. That's not the best part. The best part is when you're finished, you can enter a monthly drawing to win a $100 Amazon gift card. That's amazing. $100, that could be yours for 5 minutes of work. Basically, your answers will help us find advertisers that are well matched to you, your interest in the show. It's just going to make everything better. And even if you've taken one of our previous surveys, I'd sincerely like to ask you to take this new one. It's been totally revised, and advertisers like it, and we have the most up-to-date answers. Plus, as I mentioned, you have a chance to win that $100 gift card. Doesn't that sound good? Think of all the stuff you could buy. Once again, that URL to take this survey is podsurvey.com/today. That's podsurvey.com/today, TODAY. Thanks for helping us find the best advertisers possible so we can keep this show free. And now, without further ado, let's kick this off. Today We Learned, number 93, with Rob Fee.
Today We Learned. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Today We Learned. Hold on, I'm just trying to do my thing here because I can't hear myself in these headphones, but I'm, oh, there we go. There I go again. What is my weakness, man? Is that salt and pepper? I don't know. One of those.
It is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a very funny guest today, filling in for not really filling in. Dan's not here. Dan's covering E3, so it's just a one-on-one here today, which is awesome because he's awesome anyways. So it's going to be a very fun episode. Regardless of all the cool stuff and gadgetry, Dan is filling in. Normally I have a co-host, Dan, but he's doing some...
I don't want to hear it. I don't care.
Ladies and gentlemen, that voice you hear is a very funny friend of mine, very funner. He's very funner across the globe. You've read his stuff on Comedy Central, MTV, Playboy, IFC, Epic Mealtime. He's written stuff for you, you've watched, etc. You've seen or heard or watched his stuff on the internet. It tends to get shared quite a bit. If you want to give a round of applause for him, if you can, otherwise you can just continue listening to this, doing whatever it is you're doing. Please welcome to the podcast for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Fee.
I'm going to assume people are clapping since I wouldn't be able to hear it either way. So thank you so much for that riveting applause. That's still resonating across the earth.
He's doing the hand motion of please stop. We don't have much time. I need to get through my speech.
Babies are crying.
Rob, so good to see you again.
It's wonderful to see you. So wonderful.
For those of you, a little backstory. For those of you that follow both my podcasts, he was just on the other one last week, picking favorites, and that was behind the scenes. It was recorded today also.
Now you're giving away movie magic.
I'm giving away some movie magic here.
The Hollywood secrets finally revealed.
Meanwhile, it's like that magic show. What was that? Where the guy would give the masked magician or whatever.
Oh, where he'd
give away magic tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rob, as you know, and as our listeners know, as you know, because I mentioned it to you earlier today and last night when we were chit-chatting, we like to start off each episode with a guest providing a fun fact about themselves and possibly something you learned recently. There are no rules. It could be from a new way to tying your shoe to a Snapple fact or anything of the like. What is interesting to you? What do you got?
Well, I found this out, and it changed my view on life.
Okay.
This is something that deeply impacted me, really on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I don't look at anything the same since I found this out. I had no idea that Taylor Swift's song Bad Blood was about her feud with Katy Perry.
Yeah, I heard that.
Did you know that?
I heard. I wasn't sure if it was her. For some reason, I thought it was like her. I confused like who it was.
Oh, no, it's about Katy Perry.
It's about Katy Perry.
Apparently they were friends.
Okay.
And now they've got bad blood, if you will. I guess they... John Mayer was in the mix a little bit with it. And you know that John Mayer.
Yeah, John Mayer
that
getting involved.
rascal. But yeah, it's apparently about Katy Perry.
Huh. It's a bummer because I like both of those.
I don't like Katy Perry.
You don't like Katy Perry?
I don't.
Her first album was so good.
I care nothing about Katy Perry. She's dead to me.
Her first album's so good.
If it's not good enough for Taylor Swift, it's not good enough for me.
All right, I'll subscribe to that newsletter because I'm a huge Tay-Sway fan. The T-Swizzle.
I took my niece to see Taylor Swift live a couple weeks ago.
How good was that show?
I'm not going to lie. It was fantastic in every way. And they did this thing to where, spoiler alert if you're going to see her live, I guess this is a spoiler. They gave everyone these little LED bracelets when you walked in.
Okay.
And I figured it would tie in some way. I didn't know how. But when the show started and the lights went up, the LED thing on your wrist lit up in different ways and would change colors and flash. So the whole arena was a giant lighting show.
That's
awesome.
Amazing. That's amazing.
You don't get that at a Korn concert. Slipknot isn't pulling that off at their
synchronizing their light shows. That's really cool. I'm gonna go see her at the Staples Center when she's here. She's here doing like 6 shows at the Staples Center.
Oh, I'll be there. Don't worry about that.
I'm gonna be at 1 or 2 of those shows.
Oh, I will too.
I am a huge Tay-Sway fan.
She also did
Taylor Swift.
She changed up her old songs, but made them like
poppier.
Yeah, like a synthy kind of.
Did she do Trouble?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Trouble is such a good song, dude.
But she slowed it down and made it like a gothy kind of like this red and black light. Oh. Dude, it was so good. I love you, Taylor Swift.
I love you too, Taylor Swift.
I said it first.
God. All right, I'll see myself out.
Tell you what.
I'm reaching to shut the door to make it sound like I'm actually leaving, but I can't reach it.
You keep this up and we'll have bad blood, if you will.
Hey, man, Rob, you're starting to cause some trouble. You know, I wear T-shirts. You wear short skirts.
If you look at your guest list today, it's about to be a blank space.
Hey, man.
We could just do this all day.
Hey, we could. You know, it's at least I have style.
You're just naming titles now. You're looking at a track list.
I'm
just naming.
I'm going through my list of songs I love of hers.
Looks like you're untitled track 16.
Here's a fun fact. A couple weeks ago, it was National Donut Day.
It was.
Do you remember that?
I fondly.
Did you have a donut?
Oh, of course I had a donut.
I have a donut every day because I'm an adult. But it was National Donut Day.
Right.
So I was looking, and on Mental Floss, Mental Floss is a great website if you like to learn weird, random shit. They had a thing about Donut Day and then some other holidays. Donut Day is typically it's a holiday. It's an annual. Apparently, this is the first year I've heard of it, but it is a annual holiday.
We're very liberal with the term holiday.
Yeah. Presidents would have a field day. You know, our forefathers would be rolling in their graves. This holiday, annually, the first Friday in June, was founded in 1938 to honor the role the sweet treat played in World War I. members of the Salvation Army, they became known as the Donut Dollies, and they would distribute donuts to soldiers to supplement their rations. Years later, during the Great Depression, the Salvation Army, they created the holiday to remember these earlier services and encourage fundraising by giving paper donuts out in exchange for donations. But now these days, it's like just a holiday for restaurants to have a donut as a dessert for people to flock into, being like, do you have donuts? I got to get my fix.
Right.
So many girls on like Instagram and like Twitter were like, oh, having a donut today.
Right.
It's like, come on.
It's trending.
It's trending. Oh, if it's trending, I better have it.
What year did it start?
1938 was when they started giving out
Is that when it
donuts.
became a holiday?
Yeah, it was founded in 1938 by the Salvation Army.
I feel like we really celebrated that around. I don't remember seeing pictures of my grandparents in the 50s.
Yeah, just
celebrating Donut Day.
How did you meet? Well, we met on Donut Day.
Right.
Okay. What about this? It's exactly that. Is because like you don't hear about it. They don't. It's not. Well, like there's National Hamburger Day. Like I made the joke not too long ago. I tend to make it a lot, but it's like I look at Google to know if it's a holiday or not.
Right.
And there's so many like Donut Day or Hamburger Day or Siblings Day, Best Friends Day, and I feel like it's all horseshit that is just, even if it is a thing,
right?
You wouldn't know about it. Like they didn't have Twitter in the 1980s, so we didn't know about Donut Day, or even in the 1950s. There's way more important things being talked about in the newspapers than like the LA Times or the LA Weekly talking about National Donut Day.
Right. Hitler was running around, and then we were a little more focused on him than Pastry Day.
Than having a cruller donut.
Although we do, I mean, there's ISIS now. We have them to deal with, right?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
ISIS donuts.
I don't think they'd be a popular item on the menu. What exactly does an ISIS donut consist of? Is the top cut off?
The top's cut off and there's like strawberry jelly spilling out.
Nope, that's too far. That's too far. They record you while you eat it.
There's June 28th, apparently, an annual celebrated on the last Sunday in June in Michigan, is called Log Cabin Day. There's June 26th.
Is every day something? Like, we've just designated something to every day, right?
Pretty much. According to this Mental Floss article, June 26th, since 1999, is Take Your Dog to Work Day.
See, this is just stupid. I tried to, a couple years ago, remember when the White House started those petitions to where if you got 10,000 signatures, Obama would address it, or like somebody in the office.
Yeah.
I petitioned to make, I don't remember what day it was, someday in May, National Macho Man Randy Savage Day.
Oh.
Because, and I wrote it really seriously. I was like, he's an American icon. We need to celebrate his legacy, all these different things.
Oh, yeah.
And it got picked up by TMZ, and they started running it seriously.
That's
and
amazing.
They interviewed his brother about it, and it was a quote at the top, and it said, Randy Savage's brother, come on, Obama, make this a national holiday. So I was like, it's me and Lieben Lanny Poffo, Randy Savage's brother, petitioning Obama to make this national holiday, which at the time I thought was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But compared to National Bring Your Dog to Work Day, I would celebrate Macho Man Day over that anytime.
Absolutely. Well,
I mean, you wear tassels, you dress like a hairy Hooters waitress, and
go around saying, "Oh yeah,
I'm down.
Eat Slim Jims." Instead of donuts, you're eating a Slim Jim.
Right. Snap into that.
Did you get 10,000 signatures?
I got like 800. I would have gotten more, but you have to register and all that. For it.
Yeah.
No one's going to take 2 minutes out of their day for the memory of Macho Man Randy Savage.
That's
If we got 1,000, he would have been released from hell.
Somebody did that survey. I remember that petition, and it was to build an actual Death Star, and
Really?
Obama had to respond to, "We're not building a Death Star."
I like the one where someone tried to make the remix to Ignition our national anthem, which I think was a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more patriotic would you be if R. Kelly's remix to Ignition played before every sporting event?
I would
Just
be
the whole song.
I would always wear red, white, and blue every day.
Oh, I would dress like Lex Luger in 96. Like, I would always be wearing Stars and Stripes.
I would have speakers put on the outside of my car cruising around to A Real American by
Right.
Hulk Hogan.
I mean, no one listens to the national anthem now. That's an actual anthem of the nation.
It is interesting how it's only sung at events.
Right.
Like, nobody really gives a shit.
And also, like, I think it's kind of posery that, you know, people act like they're such a big Francis Scott Key fan. They know one song. Like, name 3 other Francis Scott Key songs, posers.
Yeah. Speaking of holidays and like creations of holidays and like how we haven't heard of it, there was it's September 19th. It's called International Talk Like a Pirate Day.
That's stupid.
That's stupid, but I remember when it was like really started. It was started. It was picked up by a gentleman by the name of Dave Barry. It was created by a group of people in 1995, and I've known about it since like 2000.
Do people celebrate that?
No, but it's like they'll post about it, and they'll, you know, it's all social media where it's
everything now is an excuse to have a hashtag.
Yeah, it's all it is. And like people will post, oh, here's a picture of my favorite pirate,
Right,
Jack Sparrow.
It's hashtag Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Here's a joke. What kind of movies do pirates go see?
Right.
Rated R movies, you know.
Hashtag Donut Day. Hashtag Remember 9/11. Like, it's just all excuses for hashtags.
That's one thing too. Like, speaking of Remember 9/11, my friends when I were just talking about, it was either yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever, where it's like, you need to like remember 9/11. Like, anybody who was around when that happened, like, you need to be told not to forget this horrific event that happened. Like, people aren't going to forget this that lived around there.
They might.
Yeah.
They might.
I mean, yeah, but even so, it's like you look at Pearl Harbor, and like my grandparents aren't.
I forgot all about that.
December 7th, 1941.
Was it?
think
Google
so.
that and see.
19 Pearl Harbor attack. December 7th, 1941, yeah.
That was nice. That was without Googling that. You knew it already. Unless you had that pulled up and you just pretended
I'm just
to type
pretending.
just now.
Pearl Harbor was blah, 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 yeah. But I mean, and you don't. That was horrific. And
That was bad. I agree.
And 70 years later, they're not making. I mean, maybe it'll be mentioned here and there, but it's not like a huge, like thing that, you know, like our grandparents or whatever are like, remember Pearl Harbor.
Well, they can do hashtags as well. If they could do hashtags,
It's
we'd
like-
remember more of it.
It's like,
It wasn't a trending topic.
yeah,
so.
it wasn't trendy to be patriotic back then or whatever. But it kind of like how that was so far. And I was reading this, so Pearl Harbor was so far away from us, right?
Right.
In theory, farther away than the 15 years.
Do you mean in time?
And
or-
time-wise, and time. Well, I mean, Hawaii's quite far from Los Angeles as it is.
It's a little bit of a drive.
And we're closer to 9/11. Much
Right.
like the Civil War, we're closer to, like the World War is further away from us. Wars are like what I'm getting at is like the time in linear fashion.
What you're saying is you don't care about wars.
I don't care about wars. What I'm getting at is like we think of like the fall of Rome
Right,
and
right.
how long ago that was, and we
Right.
think about how long ago like the fall of Rome was and how historic that is. But when Rome was around, the Egyptians, the fall of Egypt with the
Right.
pyramids and all of that was even longer. So like think of us as Rome, and the fall of Rome was so long ago for us.
Right.
The fall of Egypt was even longer ago for them than what it is for us.
Well, you know what they say, that Rome wasn't built in a day.
By the time Rome was built, Egypt was, you know,
That's what they say.
they say that. Or they say, like, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. They don't do anything like that.
What do they do in Rome? Is that like a sex thing? Is that what that was referring to?
It was the when in Rome, do as Romans do was just a guy trying to coax another dude
Right.
into sleeping with him. Dude, I'm not gay. Dude, man, when
That
in
was
Rome.
a pickup line that has lasted centuries. He was just like groping the guy, and he's like, "You're in Rome.
Hey,
do
man.
what we do."
Do what we do, bro. You're in Rome. Here's a completely off random thing. The little pink part in the inside corner of your eye.
Speaking of Rome,
Speaking of Rome, speaking of doing as the Romans do, the pink thing in the inside corner of your eye is left over from when we had an inner eyelid. It's called the plica semulinaris, if I'm pronouncing that correctly according to Wikipedia. It's the small fold of bulbar conjunctivi on the middle canthus of the eye, to get all super science on you. But it is the third vestigial remnant. It is the vestigial remnant of the nictating membrane, the third eyelid, which is drawn across the eye for protection. It is present in other animals currently, such as birds, reptiles, and fish, which is why in like the Jurassic movies, there's like that sideways eyelid that goes. But the mammals generally don't have it anymore.
I don't buy that.
Yeah. So that was the thing I also
I don't believe it. I think they just made that up.
Yeah.
I do.
It could be science. That's one thing too. Is it's like, I mean, it's who's to say they're not? Who's to say scientists back in the day weren't just making shit up? Like the world is flat.
I think more than I don't believe it is that, you know what? I don't even care. I don't care what that part of my eye is for. I don't. It does nothing for me.
It's not gonna. That's an interesting thing too. Is like they're always making these discoveries of like what used to be.
Right. Who spent all the time and effort studying the corner part of your eye to be like, hey guys, you know that thing you didn't care about?
Yeah.
We solved it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's like it's science is interesting like that because like okay, I get it. It's studying evolution and what we were, but in the end, it's like you're a super smart dude. Focus on something that could help do something beneficial for us.
Right. That does nothing for me.
Solving out evolution in the end, unless it's like geneticists on how to breed dinosaurs and we learned how that turns out.
Right.
Don't do that.
I don't care where we came from.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I get it. We evolved. Make me flying cars or jetpacks.
Right. If Jesus did it or whatever, awesome. Cool.
Sure. Got it.
We have no water in California. Can we fix that first and then talk about the corner of our eyeballs and what it used to be in ancient times?
That's so true, though. I mean, it's focusing on, like, history is a very important part, but there's so much where it's also, like, teach you the history of what happened and know what you did and how you got here.
Right.
But it's also learn from it. Like,
right.
Don't have droughts or don't waste waters or don't have chemicals ruin the earth.
Well, it's like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Just use that for like, hey, it's like they like completely misuse everything. I love it. But it's true. I mean, it's also true, I suppose. Maybe that's why Rome wasn't built in a day. Because they had scientists. If they had scientists working on building Rome, they could have built it a lot faster. Right. But they were too busy trying to figure out how long ago Egypt crashed.
It would have been. Can you imagine how long it would have taken to build now with the internet and everything like that? I mean, I think about all the things that people would accomplish, in the 100 years ago, and I'm like, I can't write 1,000 words without wondering what's on my Facebook, Instagram, IMDb. You know what I mean? Like I'm the most distracted human being in the world.
It is the internet has made it so easy to accomplish things, but it's also made it even easier to not accomplish anything.
Right. What's the movie with Scarlett Johansson where she unlocks all of her brain?
Was that Salt or what? No,
that
was
Angelina Jolie. What's the Scarlett Johansson?
Lucy.
Yeah. I think all she did was she threw away her phone and just stopped getting online. And I was like, my God, look what I can do now.
It's like that Limitless with
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. I can write so many books.
I think he took Molly.
Yeah.
And he could do all this stuff.
And he all of a sudden could learn how to do everything. It's like just don't get on Twitter.
Right. And you accomplish so much.
When you wake up, don't look at your phone for 30 minutes like I do every morning. I grab my phone and I don't get out of bed generally for at least 20 minutes because
Right.
I fall into the rabbit hole of looking at my phone.
Yeah, I start looking at YouTube videos, and before I know it, I'm watching infomercials from the 80s. You know? It's a wonderful use of time and energy.
Rob, you're from Louisville, right? No, you currently live in Louisville, but you're from what was the city in Kentucky again you're from?
I lived in Louisville.
Yeah.
I grew up in Harlan, Kentucky.
Harlan, Kentucky. Let's
I'm
see
sure
here.
you've heard of it. It's where Justified is based.
Okay.
The show Justified.
Yep, I've heard of that show. Harlan is a city in and the county seat of Harlan County, Kentucky, United States.
Did you just know that?
No, I'm looking at. I'm on Wikipedia.
I know. I saw you. I'm sure.
Harlan is one of 3 Kentucky county seats to share its name with its county. The others being Greenup and Henderson.
That's a terrible like thing to brag about as a city.
Bro,
We're the same name as the county.
what was it like growing up there? How do you like?
I mean,
Because I'm looking at I grew up in a small town, Bay City, Michigan, which was like a population maybe 30,000.
Michigan. Everything in Michigan is close to a highway. Though,
Yeah.
right? Like you're close to the interstate.
Yeah, because I'm looking at yours. I'm looking at Harlan, and in 2010 the population was only 1,700.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
was it? I mean, it was probably
Oh, yeah.
similar when you were growing up.
Yeah, tiny town. It was an hour and a half from the interstate. I mean, you're there, and that's pretty much it. But I mean, I enjoyed it. Like, I like that I grew up in a smaller place because I think it makes me a little more well-rounded. Like, I know I didn't just grow up in one particular area, but at the same time, I didn't know what the sun looked like until I was 17. No, but it was great. I loved it.
You loved it.
I'm not going back.
Yeah.
but it was nice.
And then you currently, or you've lived in Louisville
I lived in Louisville, yes.
for a bit. Louisville is the largest city in the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the 28th most populous in the United States. It is one of 2 cities in Kentucky designated as first class, with the other being the state's second largest city of Lexington.
Louisville's a great city. I describe it as Austin without the traffic.
Okay.
But what was really weird is when I'm here all the time, and when I would go to Louisville, you'd walk down the street and people were like, "Hi, how are you?" And I was like, "Are you gonna hurt me? Like, why are you talking to me just on the street?" And I forget. Oh yes, in other places, people are just nice,
Yeah.
for no other reason, and they're not going to spit on you.
Yeah. Do you what do you love about Louisville? Like, what's your is it like what's the food like? What's your favorite? What would be your
Food's
favorite thing
great.
about Louisville?
Food's wonderful. Yeah, I mean it's cool because you can be in the downtown area.
Yeah.
Like a busy downtown, drive 15 minutes and be in the woods. And that's nice.
Okay.
It's lovely.
I'm looking here. This is pretty interesting. Louisville was founded in 1778 by a gentleman by the name of George Rivers Clark and is named after King Louis the 16th of France.
I wasn't there, so I don't know. I can't verify that.
You can't verify that?
No.
Drat. I was hoping.
But I mean, you know what they say.
Yeah. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
That's not really relevant to what we were talking about.
It was.
I switched it on you.
You
I
switched
switched
it.
up.
You
Boy, do
switched
feel
it.
ridiculous now.
Boy, I'm going to put my shirt over my head and just do the rest of the show in darkness.
Is that your normal reaction to being upset? I have to get my dark shirt, please.
It's either that or crawl up in the shower crying. But there's no shower here, so I just put my shirt over my head like a hockey fight and just weep in sadness.
I'm staying at an Airbnb while I'm looking for a place, and have you ever stayed in an Airbnb?
A couple times.
Normally, I love them. The one I'm staying at now has this terrible setup to where the bathroom is in the living room, and so the toilet is right next to, when you said shower,
Okay.
right behind the TV. So if anyone's over and they're on the toilet, it's directly behind the TV, like their head is peeking over, and the ceiling is like a foot too short. So I'm trying to figure out what sort of monster designed this place.
So there's no door or anything? Or
No,
there?
it's a guest house, but there's no door
In the-
separating the living room and the bathroom.
Holy moly.
Like, what monster designed this place and was like, you know, it'd be cool if I could watch TV and watch you poop. You know what I mean? It's troubling.
That's so weird.
It's very troubling.
Like, even that is just like, do you just love pooping in front of anybody? Like, if you have guests or whatever?
I don't know the motivation for doing that. I don't know why you would want that. I mean, the shower is right there, too. I mean, everything. It's a pervert that designed this place and just wants to watch people in the bathroom.
It's, look for cameras. See if there's any cameras, because it sounds like it could be like a...
I don't care. I don't care if someone wants to record me.
Yeah.
Would you be upset with that if you found out, like, someone was recording you shower and everything? I don't really care. I mean,
I kind of don't give a shit. I'm not at the point where, A, anybody would care right now, but B, it's all the same in the end. Like, everybody's... Naked dudes are naked dudes, naked girls are naked girls in the end, and it's like, look, I poop. If like, everybody... It's like the children's book, Everybody Poops, you know? And if it leaked tomorrow, a video of me taking a dump, it'd be like, okay, this is what everybody else does.
Right.
This is how everybody else looks.
I don't care about stuff like that. I'll send naked pictures to the world. I don't care.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Exactly.
Do you want to make a sex tape? Is that what we're talking around here? What are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what? I mean, yeah. Now, I suppose if they were making billions of dollars off of me taking dumps,
So it's solely financially is what.
then I would want a cut of that.
Right.
Is all I'm saying.
But it's not. Oh, I'm humiliated.
I would start eating more fiber if I was getting a cut to take dumps.
I'm still talking about like this is just the nudity part, and
Yeah.
you're really on this poop tape.
Yeah. Well, you know, if the cameras are in the bathroom.
I don't want to see your search history, to be honest.
Do you have any growing up? What was your toy? I was just talking to my father the other day about how growing up in different parts of the globe, you grow up with different types of like candies or favorite types of snacks as kids, or television shows or whatever, or even like toys. What was growing up? What was some of your favorite toys that you remember, like in just growing up with that you would play around with?
Oh man, I had wrestling buddies.
Okay.
Did you ever have those?
I had those. Are like the big ones, like the big rubber thick ones?
No, they're like this. But no, the wrestling buddies were like.
Oh yeah. Oh, the
they
stuffed
were like
ones.
stuffed animals.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a friend who said that his best friend growing up cut holes in his wrestling buddy and would have sex with it, which is weird.
That's weird.
Because I like the $1 Million Man, but I don't know if I'd want to make love to the $1 Million Man.
Ted DiBiase, shout out.
Yeah, that's the shout out he's been dreaming for.
He's a huge fan of the podcast, believe it or not. He tweets us every day saying, hey, man, here's a fact.
Hey, man, if anybody cut holes in my wrestling buddy, definitely let me know. I feel like that would be a traumatizing thing for a parent to walk in on. Is your kid just plowing into the big boss man.
Hillbilly Jim, Hacksaw. No, wait. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Hillbilly Jim.
Yep. I don't think Hillbilly Jim had a wrestling buddy.
No, he had the...
His was just like some straw stuffed into a paper bag.
He did have the thick rubber, the rubber one.
Yep.
Do you remember those?
Yep.
Those rubber WrestleManias. They were like a foot tall, and they were just molded rubber.
Yep. My dog chewed the arm off my Hillbilly Jim.
Hillbilly Jim.
Yep.
I had Hillbilly Jim. I had King Kong Bundy.
Yep.
I had Hulk Hogan.
Of course.
Who else did I have? And it came with like that big, just gaudy WWF ring.
Oh yeah, one time I took the ropes off that ring, and my mom had spent hours putting it on, and she hit me with a belt because I took the ropes off.
It was a pain in the ass to put the ropes on.
I know at the time I didn't understand it, but now I kind of get it.
Like you had to feed it up through the corners and everything.
I get it. You're justifying my mom beating me.
Beating your children is acceptable if they take the... One of the toys I remember playing with, and this is speaking of toys, we used to go to one of my babysitters growing up was my dad's aunt, my Aunt Jerry. We would go to her house.
How did she spell her name?
It was Geraldine.
Okay.
So it was Gerry, I believe.
Okay.
Her real name was, I think it's Geraldine or Geraldine or something like that, but we always called her Aunt Jerry. She was my dad's aunt. She was my great aunt. She would watch us as kids growing up on occasion. Right. And that's where, do you ever play Risk?
I never did, but the idea of it was awesome. Like I always wanted to play it.
Risk is a fun game I never got into as an adult, and it was. We would always go over to her house, and she had like her kids had Risk and all of that when they were growing up, and they were our cousins. They had Risk and games like that, and it was always interesting. We always seen it, and we seen like horses and army and like a map. And as kids, you're like, what is that?
Right.
And I ended up getting into that game as later on. But one thing I remember they had like this big cylinder,
right,
full of Lincoln Logs. And
Wait,
it was,
is this about Risk?
no, it's. We never ended up playing Risk, but I was leading up to this Lincoln Log.
I did play Risk a little when we went to this little church when I was growing up, and one of the guys there was definitely a child molester. So like we would run by the door, hoping we weren't the one that he grabbed, and picked up by your crotch, and palmed like a basketball.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest game of Risk that we played every Sunday. Was
who's faster?
Don't let Vernon palm you was the name of that game. That's actually his name too. That's his name.
Shout out.
But he's dead now.
He's dead now. So cool. Go ahead, legacy of Vernon Palmer.
Shame his family.
Risk. If you don't know what the board game Risk is a strategy board game produced by Parker Brothers, now Hasbro. It was created in 1959. Yeah, the classic 1959 game. It was created in the classic version it makes was in 1959, I believe. But anyways, back to so she always had that game, and it was always weird to me. We never played it, but what they did have was a box of Lincoln Logs.
Right.
And I remember it was just like wooden logs, and then they had like these green slats for like the roof, and they had like red slits and everything like that. And then I was reading up the other day on Wikipedia about different boards games and stuff like that, and you play the Blue Link. Do you ever just surf Blue Link like you're on Wikipedia,
right,
and you start on one thing, and the next thing you know, you got like 20 tabs open from clicking link. This I got into talking about Lincoln Logs here, and Lincoln Logs, if you don't know, is a United States children's toy consisting of notched miniature logs. It's used to build small forts and buildings. They were invented by John Lloyd Wright, the son of architect Frank Lloyd Wright.
Well, he did a terrible job because those are the most boring toys in the world. All you can do is build up, or you can build a big square. That's it.
Yeah.
It's Legos for dumb kids.
It's Legos for just want to build. Yeah, it's like there's how many different types of cabins can you build?
Right, exactly. Like, look, I built one that's 9 logs high. Cool, I built one that's 10. Let's go kill ourselves.
I'm trying to find here while we're speaking of Frank Lloyd Wright. Frank Lloyd Wright obviously is the
Speaking of killing yourself over Lincoln Logs.
Did he kill himself? I don't think so, did he? No.
He should have.
He should have. Frank Lloyd Wright? What did he do here? He jumped off a boat? No. Allegedly. He's recognized.
Frank Lloyd Wright was a like an opera singer. Who am I thinking of?
Pavarotti?
No, that's a different name.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Andrew Lloyd
Are they
Webber.
the same guy?
I've never seen him in the same place. Have you ever seen Andrew Lloyd Webber and Frank Lloyd Wright in the same place at the same time?
Speaking of Andrew Lloyd Wright, the other day I was on I was flying Southwest.
Okay.
In case you're wondering what kind of money I'm pulling in. And I stopped in Phoenix.
Okay.
And
great college.
Great
college here.
Top notch. Great city all around. And I'm sitting there, and I see somebody next to me, and I'm like, I think I know who that is. And I was like, and I Googled them to look and make sure that was them, and I was like, it is. It was Kenny G. Kenny G was sitting next to me on a Southwest flight with his tiny Asian girlfriend, and like, obviously, I went and got a picture with him because it was Kenny G. And
Kenny G.
He was like, we got to keep it low key. And I was like, what key are you playing, Kenny? But he was like, we got to keep it low key because I guess the swarms of fans were going, no one knew who he was.
Yeah.
And so it kind of made me sad that Kenny G was flying Southwest because he had his little flute box with him, that he was dragging behind. But what made me even more sad is that he wasn't even in group A1 through 30. He was like A46. He probably had to get like a middle seat.
Ugh.
Like, times are tough for Kenny G.
I mean, saxophones have been. They're not.
What is he
they're
playing?
not.
What instrument is he?
He plays the soprano saxophone.
Is it?
And the reason I know that is because my dad also plays the soprano saxophone.
Is your dad Kenny G?
My dad is not Kenny G. Then again, I've never seen them in the same place at the same time.
I mean,
I'm just going to use that logic for everything. Hey, have you seen them together?
You know what they say, Kenny G wasn't built in a day.
The soprano saxophone, here's a fact about this, in case you didn't know, I knew this.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
That's
so
a thing.
whatever you're going to say, I had no idea.
So I could make something up. The soprano saxophone was invented in Rome.
Right. By Andrew Lloyd Webber.
The soprano saxophone is a higher register variety of saxophone. It's a woodwind instrument invented in the 1840s. The soprano is the third smallest member of the saxophone family, which consists, from smallest to largest, the soprillo, the sopranino, the soprano, the alto, the tenor, the baritone, the bass, the contrabass, and the subcontrabass, which nobody ever plays. Nobody's heard the subcontrabass.
If they did, I'll tell you what. Now we've got Bad Blood.
Oh.
That's a Taylor Swift song. That's a reference.
I'll tell you what. I love saxophones, and the only way I feel like Bad Blood could have been any better was if some saxophone was in that song. But how about that video?
Worked?
Or even if that video, like when Taylor got thrown out of the thing, if she landed on like a street bum playing saxophone instead of the car.
If as she was falling, she pulled out a saxophone and played it. I don't know if continuity wise it would have made sense, but I would have enjoyed it.
And then she lands, and then she clocks Cara Delevingne up the side of the head with the saxophone.
That video.
They just start fighting.
Do you think Kendrick Lamar listens to Kenny G? Because he's in that Bad Blood video.
In that Bad Blood video.
You think he knows who Kenny G is?
You know, that's honestly, that'd be like, that's an honest question because I guarantee. Let me see how old he is.
Yeah, I want to know if Kendrick Lamar knows who Kenny G is.
Kendrick Lamar. Okay. Kendrick Lamar's 27.
Right.
He could or he could. I would say, if I had to bet, I would say he doesn't. I would say he'd confuse him with someone else. Like he would think he's
like who do you think like
Yanni,
Michael Bolton?
Yanni or Michael Bolton. Do you know what I mean? Because they're from the same era. I'm going
to say something, and you may be upset with this, and I love Michael Bolton.
Sure.
I think he's a national treasure.
He's a national treasure.
I think he's wonderful, and I think his songs are delightful, and I think if you don't like him, you just don't like him because you think you're not supposed to like him.
I'm trying to think of a Michael Bolton song.
Said I loved you, but I lied.
How's that go?
I said I loved you, but I lied. How am I supposed to live without you?
No, that's not.
When a man loves a woman.
Yeah, is that his original song?
No, it's not his original, but it might as well be.
Yeah.
Look at the Michael Bolton hits, dude. They're nonstop, one after the other.
Michael Bolton songs.
Your search history is going to be wonderful.
I Promise You. So Go the Distance.
I don't know that one.
Soul Provider.
Okay.
How Can We Be Lovers?
How can we be lovers if we can't be friends? Oh, yeah, dude.
Lean on Me.
This has made me sound like I have the worst music taste in the world because I've raved about Taylor Swift and Michael Bolton. I'm everyone's aunt.
The aunt that works in a bank just listening to Michael Bolton.
Right, I've got 35 years in at Fifth Third, just sitting away at the counter listening to Michael Bolton and Taylor Swift and George Michael.
George Michael. See, I can get into George Michael. He was
literally.
Here's something. Did you know this? Bolton originally performed in the hard rock and heavy metal genres from the mid 70s to the mid 80s.
Michael Bolton did?
Michael Bolton did heavy metal for a good 10 years, both on his early solo albums and those he recorded as the frontman for the band Blackjack.
Michael Bolton was in a hardcore band?
Yeah, a band named Blackjack.
Well, I know what I'm going to be looking up later.
He became better known for his series.
I'm going to look up the Michael Bolton band in case I wasn't clear.
Just in case you didn't know what he was insinuating.
Did you know my friend told me that he used to be a big fan of the Goo Goo Dolls when they were a hardcore band?
Okay.
They used to be.
I didn't know they were a hardcore band, but I knew Fall Out Boy used to be like a hardcore punk band. They used to be like a screamo hardcore band.
Yeah, I could see that more than Goo Goo Dolls.
Goo Goo Dolls was a
because
hardcore band.
They crossed over with that song from City of Angels.
Yeah.
What is it? The one where Meg Ryan is riding on a bike with her arms out and her eyes closed. And then dies, and you're like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, with Nick Cage? Wasn't it City of Angels?
Yeah, that's normally what happens when you ride a bike with your eyes closed and your arms out.
I'm looking here. He was in a band with some of these. He was in a band with the dude who was in in that band Blackjack. One of the guys used to be in Kiss.
Really?
Yeah, Bruce Kulichek. Previously, he was a longtime member of the band Kiss. He formed that. Who else was in this? Sandy Gennaro, who just doesn't look like he was in any big bands.
I need to hear this Michael Bolton hardcore track.
I mean, I get
Is it
it
on
completely.
Spotify? Is he on there?
That's a good idea. I'm gonna look. Blackjack.
What a terrible name for a band. Like
Isn't
that
that
just
horrible?
sounds like a southern rock. You know what I mean? Like their album pictures them in like denim dress shirts with their hair in the wind, and there's like a silo behind them or something.
Yeah, like a motorcycle. Oh, okay, here we go. This is a learning podcast. We're going to teach you about the song Love Me Tonight by Michael Bolton's Blackjack.
Oh, you found it?
I found one on YouTube.
This is not hardcore.
This is not hardcore. This isn't hardcore. Come on, Mikey. Start singing.
That's the Michael Bolton I know and love. See, I get into that. Oh my gosh. He looks beautiful. He looks like, did you ever see the movie Curly Sue? He looks like adult Curly Sue. You see this? He's gorgeous. What a beautiful man.
The iTunes Blackjack sales are going to skyrocket after this podcast.
This is unbelievable. And it only has 105,000 views. Oh my God. Everyone from Spinal Tap is the rest of the band.
I'm not going to lie, it's kind of a catchy tune.
I'm downloading this as soon as I get home.
It's a really catchy tune.
Oh, that's a beautiful video.
All right, let me see what I want to hear some metal though. Let's try this Fallen. Let's see this Fallen here. See what song this is. This is like,
I told you this is so southern rock. Like,
yeah.
The name of this track could be like "She's Always on a Dusty Road" or something. You know what I mean?
It's like what's that band? It's like the Georgia Satellites.
Right.
Like it's straight out of like
"A Woman's Heart Ain't No Lie" or something like that. See, I'm digging this. I'm down with it.
Yeah, it's 80s like country rock.
It's like a little Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
Blackjack. Hey man, you want to go see Blackjack this weekend?
Exactly. They're playing at the state fair.
Pick you up on my bike at 10.
Right, we can get a corn dog and watch Blackjack. The guitar player was the best though because he had that giant 80s mustache that was a beard, but he just trimmed into a mustache.
It's interesting. This is completely. I mentioned earlier on the other podcast we did earlier about segues and all that, and it's.
Well, there's no way to segue from that. I mean,
oh, you are. You want to see here?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? I'm going to show you the notes I have already for facts, right? Then I'm going to have you guess how we can segue. So it's that second fact down there.
And we're segueing from
Michael Bolton's Blackjack.
Oh, come on. That was beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
I'm going to let you do it. I'm not going to steal your thunder.
Okay, so Michael Bolton was in that band Blackjack, right?
Right.
Now, Blackjack could either be a weapon you use to, like, pistol whip people, right? And the cartoons and mobs are always, they got, like, a blackjack that they use, like, whatever. It's a weapon of some form. But it's also a card game that you use to gamble.
It is, like 21, if you will.
Yes, if you will. A card game is made with playing cards. It's played with playing cards. And one of the more popular playing card companies is a company called Bicycle Playing Cards.
I'm familiar.
Now, I have a fact here about Bicycle Playing Cards and taking us back to the World Wars there. During World War II, the company secretly worked with the U.S. government in fabricating special decks to send as gifts for the American prisoners of war in German camps. When these cards were moistened, they peeled apart to reveal sections of a map indicating precise escape routes. Also during the war, the USPC provided spotter cards, which illustrated the characteristic shapes of tanks, ships, and aircraft from the more powerful countries. So they were like aiding and abetting escaping prisoners of war.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's awesome. That's like, it's almost surprising that stuff like that. I mean, it's very reminiscent of like Hogan's Heroes or stuff like that, like the old escape TV shows or...
It's like when I would wear a long sleeve shirt to school to hide my slap bracelet when they were not allowed.
When you couldn't wear bracelets.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty much the same thing as that. Yeah. Actually, it's exactly the same.
Bicycle playing cards are the same as slap bracelets.
A POW is the same as going to middle school in Kentucky.
Yeah. Wearing you want to wear a band shirt, so you wear a group that makes it look like it's not a band because your teacher's not hip to who Green Day is.
Right.
Awesome. So that's that's a fun note to end on. We're approaching our end time, Rob. So this is the time where people can this is your show. So
we're approaching the end time.
The end times. Everybody duck and cover
and find your loved one because we're dying.
Press pause on the podcast and look for your nearest shelter. This is the segment of the podcast where it's your show, Rob. It is now your podcast.
Praise God.
You can promote anything you got. Tell the audience where they can find you, what you got coming up, etc. This will come out next Monday.
Okay.
So tell everybody where they can find you, or it's your show.
You can find me on. You can find me in the club, Bottleful, on Twitter at Rob Fee, and actually it's Monday, so we just finished a really fun Father's Day sketch for Comedy Central with Jonah Ray and my friend Keith Buckley helped me write it, and so Brandon Dermer directed it. It's wonderful. That's on the internet. You can watch it now. And but yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll find everything else going on.
Awesome. Everybody do that. He's very funny on Twitter. Very funny. Like, you've probably seen people retweet his shit before.
Or just steal them. Or they just stole my jokes.
Yeah. Or if you're the fat Jew, that's what he does. He just takes...
That's a character. You're not being anti-Semitic.
Yeah. People who don't know who he is.
Just some fat Jew out there stealing jokes.
Yeah, that's the...
Thanks for killing Christ, you fat Jew.
That's the guy's handle on Instagram and Twitter. Don't follow him. Follow Rob Fee. Follow at Rob Fee. ROBFEE.
And follow your Jewish friends.
And then also,
even if they're fat or not.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're not weightists.
Not at all.
We're not weight shaming at all.
I don't see weight.
No. Also, while you're on Twitter following Rob, follow the podcast, TWL Podcast. You can follow Dan at OsteoFerocious. You can follow me at My Name is Razzle2. You can follow Aristotle at Aristakos. And you can shoot us an email at todaywelearnedpodcast@gmail.com. We have a page on the Nerdist.com page over there. You can go check that out. You can like us on Facebook, Today We Learned with Razzle and Dan. You can do whatever you want. You can follow us on Instagram, etc. Whatever, anything you want. Send us facts, send us corrections, send us things you don't like about the show, whatever. Send us a great recipe for a treat you want us to to try. You can do all of that now and later when you get a chance, when you're by a computer. And as usual, as we always say, we want to thank everybody for listening and telling your friends to check this out, and et cetera, et cetera. And I said good day, sir. I said good day. But yeah, thanks, Rob, for joining us.
No problem. Tell them they can talk about how they either love my voice or they hate it, and it's the worst thing they've ever heard, and they wish I would die.
Yes. Speaking of that, you had a funny comment the other day on something he did.
Yeah, somebody commented and said, Rob Fee sounds like he swallowed Satan. I did not swallow Satan, for the record. I want to make that clear. Please get that off my Wikipedia. I have never swallowed Satan.
It's like, it reminds me of, remember the church lady on SNL when Dana Carvey was like, isn't that special?
Right.
Who could it be? Satan?
I didn't swallow Satan.
He did not swallow Satan.
For the record. I want
For the
to make that
record.
clear.
He allegedly did not swallow Satan. But you heard it here from himself. He did not swallow Satan, which would be what someone would say who swallowed Satan.
Let the record show.
Hitherto, furthermore. Thanks for listening to the show, guys. And as usual, Rome wasn't built in a day. Thanks, Rob.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.